My name is Hampley III. I'm a Chief Master Sergeant in the United States Air Force, and this is part number 2 of my video series called Stripes. And this is a career management and bullet writing guide or video series. So this part, I'm going to be talking about the word picture. And the word picture begins to shape the development of all of our performance history and how we're going to write everything out. So it's very critical that we get this right. So in the first part, just to do a little bit of overview, I talked about like the part 1 could be considered like our preparation. And I talked about the enlisted evaluation system, 362406. I talked about the career mapping and all the things that go along in between that. So what you do is you begin to prepare by seeing maybe what the requirements may be at your rank or enlisted force tier, structure tier. And then as you begin to see those things, you look at the ACA, you look at the EPR, and you see what the performance requirements may be. And even for the next rank or next tier, then you begin to provide like a career map. And I talked about career mapping, where you outline like all the PME and training requirements, your work center requirements. You're doing those as soon as you possibly can. And then you're getting into like the big rocks. And these may be like, okay, while I'm at this rank, at this base, or this enlisted tier, I want to do these 3, 4, 5 things. And then you have the little rocks, which helps you get to those big rock goals. And so all of that is like that preparation stage. And so in this stage, we're building your word picture. This is the performance. And this is where you take everything that you've kind of structured and prepared for yourself. Now you begin to apply it. And so in the word picture, it really comes down to developing, that's how you develop like your history. And so if you think about when you were in basic training, by the time you left basic training, you knew like the one person that could fold the socks well, do the bed corners well, you knew who not to talk to. And that was based on word picture. Based on one person's name, you kind of already had certain words that went along with this individual. And so what this does in the series of word picture, what you want to describe is words on the paper, on the EPR 1206, that describe your performance. And so what you're doing with that performance is it's going to answer a certain question. Should this person receive a promotion opportunity? Should this person receive a certain career management or a job or what have you? But that's how you're going to develop that. So you prepare it in the first part. Now you're going to be able to develop that and actually begin to execute some of the things that you prepared for before you get into the next part, which is like the writing and the description. And this is where we're going to actually documenting everything that you've done. And we'll get into that in our next part. So let's get into this one. So in our series, or in this word picture series, there's basically 4 things that I want to describe as far as building a great word picture. And in my last video, I talked about there was the 2 things that I used as far as a formula for success in my career, which was to leave my office better than what I found it and to help everybody. And this is what I use from staff sergeant all the way to chief, even to this day. Those are the 2 rules that I've always gone off of as far as having a successful career. I wasn't really having a successful career. That's just what I was doing. I was just trying to leave my office better than what I found it. And then there was always opportunities to help people. I didn't realize that was like any type of formula for promotion or really building great EPRs and awards and so forth. So I'm going to break this down into the 4 parts. So in the first part is competence. And so competence basically is just being able to do your job. You know your job and you know it well. And so this is the basic requirement that we all need to be able to do our jobs. And I talked about this in our in the first part when you're talking about the job performance and also the quality of the job, of the performance that you're doing, to make sure that it's top notch. You're like the subject matter expert of whatever process, whatever job, or whatever task that you're given, you're doing them with extreme excellence. And so because you know your job well and you have that competence, the second part is initiative. And so an initiative, and this is just being able to go out and to do things and take you know, as far as being reactive, waiting for things to come to you, you're going out to be proactive. And in most units, there's always problems, processes, and programs that are broken. People step over them all the time, and they just, you know there's a problem, but no one ever tries to fix it. And so all you have to do is say, hey, I see that problem that's right there that's blaring, and you know that's a problem because you have competence and you know your job well. And because you know your job well, then you can go right in and say, I know this is a problem because I see that, I know kind of how my job works, I know how this area works, and I know there's a way maybe to improve a process or a program and help things run a little bit smoother. And so now you begin to show initiative. And most of the time, You talk to your bosses aren't going to tell you, no, you can't put your hands on that, or unless there's something else that's of a higher priority that's going on. But most times they'll let you go ahead and put your hands on something to kind of see if you can fix it or to improve it. And all you're trying to do is just improve operations. And so because I had those two goals as far as leaving my office better than when I found it and helping everybody, I wasn't brown nosing or anything. I just want to be able to improve it. So when I leave, I can say, hey, look, I give someone, I'm in administration, so I provide them a continuity book. And I used to tell them, look, if you can read, you can succeed. Here's all the things I've done. Maybe here's the things I have left, and here's the progress I have on it. I tried to leave this unit better than when I found it, because nobody wants to come to a unit that's always jacked up and stuff, and then you're there for 4 years and leave it just as jacked up for the next person. Like, at least I can leave something a little bit better. So that was always kind of my focus. And so you do that through competence, and you do that through initiative. And so what happens through those two is you have this third opportunity is dependability. And so when your bosses give you something to do, or you have some tasks or requirements, they don't have to keep watching over you every 2 seconds to see what you're doing, whether or not you're checking on your phone, you taking extra super smoke breaks, extra super long lunches, you disappearing all the time. They can't ever, whenever they need something, you're nowhere around. And so with dependability, it's just, I want my boss to be able to give me something and almost just fire and forget. Just know, hey, I gave him this job, this task, and I know it's going to get done. He's going to give me regular updates on his status, and it's going to be done well because he knows his job, and he's going to take the initiative. If he sees something else while performing that task, then he's going to also go out in that area as well, kind of fix that, give me status updates, and press on. So as a Chief Master Sergeant, if I see someone that is competent, shows initiative, and is dependable, I'm going to give them some of the hardest tasks that come my way. I'm going to tag them to really stretch them further along. I'll do that with all airmen, and sometimes in Air Force, I don't know why, we kind of overwork the hard chargers, and then we let the airman bag of donuts just sit in the corner and do nothing. And no, we need to focus on them too. We need to make sure that everyone is performing at a competent level, and we're pushing each person to maximize their potential, to help them to meet their goals and to help them meet the mission requirements that are out in front of us. So as a chief, if I see someone that those three have competence, initiative, and dependability, you can guarantee I'm going to give them a lot of jobs, a lot of opportunities to do some good things. And so in number 4, that comes down to influence. So the more things that you have a chance to do, on your base, as far as unit, base, we talk about NAF level, MASCOM level, maybe there's some functional areas that you can reach across your career field. Maybe you become a subject matter expert. There's so many ways that you can begin to influence your functional community or your base at large and the Air Force that you can do every day. But this comes down to, you don't just sit back in a corner one day and then all of a sudden you just jump out and you're doing all this great work. You have to start and continue from base to base, day by day, task by task, moment by moment, to begin to show that competence, taking the time. You take the initiative to read some technical orders. You take the initiative to read AFIs. You take the initiative to do those things, to know your job well. Then you go and that's what you're doing. You're showing initiative to kind of fix the problems, process, product improvement. Whenever it comes down to EPRs, that's what I'm always focused on, process, product improvement, because I'm coming in to leave my office better than when I found it. So that's where all the money's at, process, product improvement, and there's always opportunities for you to do that. And then I'm going to show myself dependable. And then when I do that, then I have that big word picture, because when someone says, hey, I'm looking for somebody that can, maybe do a job, it'll stretch them a little bit. Who do you know? Who can you think of within your command? Got just the person. And then they'll tag you because they know that you have the capabilities to be able to meet the need. Even if they know it's going to stretch you, they know you have the skill set to be able to get the job done. And so now you have all these great bullets and all these great, not bullets, but you have all these great things that you've done, which begin to set up what you're going to document. So that's why when you get back to preparing, so now you're mapping out everything, and some things you can't map everything that's going to happen in a year, because in each year there's different opportunities that come that just fall down all of a sudden, last minute things, but you're going to map out as much as you can. So as you're mapping those things out and now you begin to perform them, now you have this big grouping of different opportunities that you've had at different levels. So you focus on things in your unit, in the base, maybe in the NAF, MASCOM, and across your functional community, and even in the local community as well. There's different things that some people may be doing locally, even some things state level, and even some national things. So I just kind of have a good balance that shows a breadth of knowledge and experience, that shows that you're doing things at different levels and that you're showing huge impacts and influences at each different level. So then that helps you when you begin to say, okay, boss, I have all of these things to document my performance. And that's what we're going into next week, is talking about begin to document what you do. And so with this one, it's just a really quick lesson just on word picture, but I really want you to focus on what you may be doing as far as your competence, your initiative, and your dependability, because all of those will get you the opportunity to influence airmen. And that's what we're looking for, people that lead. And it's not always about being out in front. As I said in the last video, I'm a very introverted person. And so I like speaking. And so that was kind of my thing, because I didn't get a lot of mentorship in my career. So I said, well, let me do mentorship because I want to give back to something that I didn't always get throughout my time. So I feel very comfortable with that. But then you can shape your career based on what you're comfortable doing and kind of where your niche areas are. If you look at my EPRs throughout my career, you'll see me doing different programs at different levels in the unit, on the base level, and top 3 different committees and so forth, reaching people in the local community as well. And so I was able to show leadership in different areas, influencing different people at different places and different levels and different bases over a long range period. And so you can do the same thing. So I want you to take some time, if you haven't already, to check out part 1. Also, I didn't show my book already, but I want you to check out my book. This is Stripes. And so this book you can find on my website, spiritualcombatants.com. If you click on the books link, this book is at the bottom of the page. And so if you click on the image, you can download a free PDF, or you can also purchase a hard copy or an ebook as well. And so there's links for those as well, but they're sold on Amazon, on Google Play, on Google Books, and on iTunes, on iBooks, and also Barnes & Noble. So you can find this book out there as well. And so if you have any questions or comments, you can always shoot me an email, type something up in the comments. You can also talk about some of the things that you find that may help you find success in a process or whatever workflow that kind of fits within you, so that we can all share and grow together, because that's what this is all about, helping you to meet your career goals as you're serving your country and you're serving honorably. Then you can also do the things to help build up your career so that you can be proud of the service that you give to your nation. So until the next time, may God bless you abundantly. Check on us for the next one, when we begin to talk about the duty description and also begin to break down the bullet elements. So I believe the bullet elements may be next. So until the next time, may God bless you abundantly. God bless.